Now, if you look about 200 years ago, the Sarfoji Maharaja, the then Raja of Thanjavur, which is on the way to reach Rameswaram, he lost his kingdom to the British during the colonization of India. At that time, on this date, he writes a letter to the British resident, Benjamin Tuart, who's in charge of Thanjavur, and he says, look at this, from my early ancestor days, people from these different parts of India that we have mentioned, which is what he mentions in the letter here, from all these parts we showed them, all of them traveled to Rameswaram. And they may not belong to his kingdom, but they belong to other kingdoms, but still they traveled to Rameswaram. And it's my duty, as said by my ancestors, whenever they travel by, we have to ensure that they are fed when they pass through my kingdom. Not only feed, but also give the medicines during the travel and have them stay in the chatrams. That's what we call the charity chatram. So it's very clear that every kingdom of the land had this. And here we have a specific letter from the Sarvaji Maharaja saying this. And he says he does not want to see this lost or this practice stopped in his time. And that's what he says. So he does not, while he may have lost his kingdom, as a Raja, he says that's not a great disgrace. Whereas stopping the charities of feeding people to reach Rameswaram along his kingdom is very important for him. So look at it. So traveling to Rameswaram has been an important aspect of life.
And while we do have this record of Sarfoji Maharaj, this has been the case with every all along all the Yatra routes. Because suddenly, just if Tanjavur is providing, it doesn't help the Yatris. They can't believe that, Tanjavur down the line after so many days, I'll get food. So if they are venturing out on a Yatra, that means every kingdom en route had ensured that every Yatri would be fed.
The route map that we showed you expresses that clearly, that everywhere all over Bharat. So you have the travel infrastructure. Look at this. In Thanjavur area alone, you have 18 chatrams. And these aren't just cheap, free boarding place. They are very well provided for food, stay, healthcare, rituals that you, because you'll have to do different rituals if you're there, for the space for animals, carts, everything. So at every 20 kilometers, you had different chatrams, and each of them had about 1,000 plus acres of land allocated for them to produce vegetables and food and provide for all these people for feeding. So just showing you a sketch here. You can see how when you start from Thanjavur, on the way you get to Vartanadu Chatram, then the Muktambal Chatram, then the Yamunabal Chatram. Each of them is at a gap of about 10 kilometers. That's about 1 day walking travel time for each of these yatris. Each of these chatrams are very ornate, if you can see. Look at this chatram, very ornate, each one of them. It's not just some hall. The entrance to the chatram. In those days, the doorway. Very ornate and welcoming. You come to Muktambal Chatram, you have the same thing. Those days, with a huge courtyard for people to take rest. It was built in 1802 by Sarfoji Maharaja himself. Then you have the Yamunambal Chatram here. Look at this. So nice. So pleasant to stay. It's like a wonderful courtyard where all can take rest.
Most of these chatrams are still there. They can be visited at least in the form of these ruins.
So, and they also build hospitals so that the people when they travel may get unwell due to long travel. So you need to do so. That also, so Rameshwaram, so similar, this is by the Kaveri River. You can see beautiful chatram on the banks of the Kaveri for people to bathe and get ready and all that. So if you say Rameshwaram is a great pilgrimage center, the towns and villages and the kingdoms around it provided the infrastructure for Rameshwaram to be a great pilgrimage center. That's what you have to say. And everywhere you had chatrams, chavadis, dharmasala. These were not poor feeding places. These were not just religious mutts also. They were organized tourist guest houses built in every nagara of the country for travelers to rest, to eat, to conduct the religious rites, all free of cost across the kingdom. So this was the actual real precursor to the hospitality industry itself. And we have the oft mentioned term Atithi Devo Bhava in Bharat. This is the real Atithi because you do not know who is coming tomorrow to your Chatram, Chavadi or Dharmashala, but you're welcoming them, you're ready for it. The infrastructure is built for this purpose, is the beauty of it. So when you say India is a prosperous country through the ages, through the millennia, it's because we have plenty of food. And we have the idea, the manas, the intention of partaking food along with every rishi, every raja, every tapasvi, every grihastha, everybody. And all this continued for centuries and millennia till the 1800s of the colonization period.